Alright. Waiting to see if this is working. Alright, it is. Sweet. Okay. Got my phone open in the other chat. No camera right now because my living room is an absolute nightmare. It's like impossible to move around. It's probably a fire hazard. But let's see. I'm just gonna get our character sheet cleaned up and maybe roll stats. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Already running issues. Great. Fantastic. I'm going to be using Auto Sheet 6.2.1 by... What the hell error? Oh no. Oh no. Why? It's just, those are not helpful details, man. Oh dear. That's strange. I've used this auto sheet for years and I've never run into an issue. There we go. That is so strange. I don't expect Google to have verified this app. If you play Pathfinder 1st Edition, I can recommend this. There's another auto sheet made by my friend, which I do not personally like as much, but it does look prettier. And then if I remember correctly, yes, I'll have to click this again, and then it will actually run the script. And even still, it doesn't delete everything like it should. It keeps, all the formula references for health and whatnot. So, we are making a fighter. Let me set myself live over here. Look at my phone so it doesn't die on me. And drop the cable. Whew. Alright, there we go. Let's roll stats. I do 46, drop the lowest. I'm not making this for a particular game or anything, so I'll just do everything as standard. It's fun to make characters sometimes, and I know a lot of people who don't like Pathfinder say, oh my gosh, it takes forever to make a character, and it really doesn't. I'm glad Shauner suggested a level 1 fighter, because that's maybe the level 1 character that takes the most to make, because you get all the extra feats and stuff. But to be honest, I mean, feats, you don't have to look through all 1,000 of them. There's way more than 1,000, I think. Just, like I say, just look at a guide. Here, I'll give you some of that die ASMR. Oh, that is a bad first roll. Ooh, okay. Off to a great start. And I'm just going to run them down the line and then move them around as we see fit. Very average. This might be a take the second column sort of thing. If we get absolute NPC stats. Everyone I play with allows rerolls. Because, if we're playing Pathfinder, we want to play powerful characters. And this is not a powerful character. Yeah, those are worse than NPC stats. That is impressively bad. All right, let's take the second. I will take my chances on the second column. What we usually do is take you get a single reroll, but you have to take the reroll if you choose to do it. So So, let's see. Let's see here. And immediately we are way better. Just go back up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. What the hell is that number? Yeah. Okay, there we go. I like having a flawed stat. It's one of the things I like about rolling. I like having like very disparate characters where they're specialized. Woo! Okay, there we go. Those are some nice stats. That's almost point buy. Weird, huh? Alright, pretty cool. Let's see. So, I start with attributes. I've decided to play a fighter because I'm taking a challenge here. But I'll usually roll stats first because that'll inform what I'm going to play. Somebody who's... And how do we roleplay that, right? Well, somebody who's really only got good physical stats, they're probably not going to be a wizard in the same way that someone in real life that isn't good at education and academia, they're probably not going to get a college degree and go into a super academic field. They're probably going to get a manual labor job. That's not a slight at those jobs. It's just an observation. I work manual labor. And I have a college degree and a college job. So, some of us are more well-rounded than others. So let's see. So we've got a negative. So with this negative, I'm already thinking about like, okay, what's this guy lacking in? I don't know if we want to be a dexterous sort of person or if we want to be more strength-based. Got lots of nice stats down here. I don't think we want to be a sickly fighter. You're not going to be too long-lived. But then there's the conundrum of, do you want to be dumb, unwise, or uncharismatic? I don't like the uncharismatic fighter, so let's dump wisdom for now. I also don't like the idea of dump stats. I think every stat is valuable, right? Just because it doesn't offer you statistical benefit in the game doesn't mean a GM is never going to call upon something you're not good at, right? Oh, don't put points into swim. That's hardly ever going to happen, except when it does happen, is it going to be a life or death scenario? You probably want an point into swim. Let's go ahead and pop our 1 level in fighter over here. So our single level in fighter, we've got a D10 hit die, so we're pretty healthy. We can take a hit. Maybe this is a can of worms, but I want to make a video on talking about hit points because they seem very divisive. Lots of people do not like hit points at all as a system. And I understand why, but I think most of it comes from people poorly describing them. I don't think the fighter can simply be stabbed more. I think it's the fighter knows how to take a hit. They know how to twist and angle themselves and make things glancing blows, how to block certain things, how to tuck and roll. We get 3 skills. Is that right? Oh, no, we are using, in my homebrew documents, nobody has only 2 skills per level. Unless you are an int-based caster. And that has not broken the game for me. It has just made things like fighters way more fun to play. Because your fighter doesn't feel totally bland. Like all they do is fight. But even still, you can of course roleplay the skills that they do have. I just think this is too low a number. So yeah, minimum 4 per level. So you have 5 skills to spend. Let's start looking at archetypes. I think archetypes are the easiest way to flavor your fighter. Or any class for that matter in Pathfinder. Because the archetypes often tie the class into the world. You know, you're not just a fighter, you're an Eldorei defender. You're a trained warrior in the art of the Eldorei dueling sword. And if that sounds interesting, we get this big readout. It's like, oh, cool, sweet. We don't need a 2-page backstory because Paizo pretty much gives it to us here. I've already built an Eldorei defender, so I'm not going to, but just as an example, excuse me. You know, and we have some more generic stuff. Armor Master, Brawler, a CAD. Brawler annoys me because there is a Brawler class, which has no relation to the Brawler fighter archetype. A Callistrian Hunter, from Callistria, of course. Let's see. I don't think I've ever looked at this. What's going on here? Oh, you get proficiency with the whip. That's pretty cool. I'm actually already playing a character that uses a whip. So, Child of Akavna and Amaznan, those are really cool. You get better usage of magic items as a fighter because of the old Aslanti, who had more magical technology, was way more widespread in the period, so even mundane fighters would know how to use that sort of stuff. So, you know, maybe there you're playing a character who's had this martial art passed down in their family through generations, and maybe that causes issues. Maybe there's people trying to stop this out because it's memories of a time better off forgotten, or people seek him out for good things. Who knows? Who knows? Even something as basic as crossbowmen, you know, why are you a crossbowman? Maybe you don't like getting your hands dirty. Maybe you're, do you lose bravery as a crossbowman? No, you don't. Okay. Never mind. Let's choose something that does lose bravery. Dragonair Scion. You know. What do we replace bravery for specifically? Fearful Might. You know, we get a +1 bonus on intimidate checks. So we're better at scaring other people, but we get scared easily ourselves. That's there you go. That's immediately an opportunity for roleplay, right? You're sort of all bark and no bite. That could be, or even if you are, capable, you're capable of backing up your threats. Maybe it speaks to some insecurity. Who knows? The Dragoon. I don't like mounted combat sort of tacked on in Pathfinder First Edition. It's one of the weaker points of the game, I think. A Druman Black Jacket from Druma. So they're like an elite mercenary group. Druma is like this, not even capitalist, but like they worship the concept of money itself. And to the point that they don't even have a standing army. They just have so much money that they can afford to year-round keep a mercenary army paid. And no other country has the money to buy it out from under them. Let's see. Eldritch Guardians? Are trained. And so then obviously you would have to think like, okay, are you still in the service? Are you, somebody must be paying you quite a lot if you're not in Druma, right? Or if you are in Druma, now you've tied this into, is this like government business that you're handling? Because one of the people in your party is a blackjacket. Maybe you turn on it. Maybe you're there to keep the rest of the party honest. You've been given a job by the government. You're sort of freelancers. And this guy's whole job is to keep you, yeah, exactly, yeah, keep you honest. So let's look at that. They can get teamwork feats. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's quite nice. That's quite cool. So you get to give your teammate teamwork feats even if they don't have them. That's pretty cool. I'll keep that one open. I think that's typo. I think that's supposed to be trip. Unless we're fighting cows. The cow tipping fighter. Freehand fighter specializes in the delicate art of handling a single weapon in one hand while using his free hand to balance, block, trip, and distract his opponents, I assume. While not a brawler, his open hand is as much a weapon as a bow or a blade. His fighting school benefits only apply when he is using a one-handed weapon and carrying nothing in his other hand. Well, it does say tip. Oh, as in tipping their shield over. Okay, that's the Huh. I usually say pulling, but pulling your opponent? Yeah, okay, interesting. That's kind of strangely specific. I don't think I've really ever looked at this archetype at all. They're better at bluff checks to do stuff. That's pretty cool. You get a dodge bonus to AC that scales, but it doesn't apply to having a heavy, medium or heavy load. Or wearing medium or heavy armor is the more important thing there. You just get scaling 2 hit and damage with the one weapon. Oh, you can disarm shields as a move action. That's kind of cool. But here is one of the issues with the action economy of D20. This is... So at 9th level, you could already make 2 attacks. But you can only do that if you don't take that move action. So, would you rather have 2 attacks? Or would you rather lower your opponent's AC by 2, maybe 4, if they even have a shield? Because a lot of times you're going to be fighting a monster or something that doesn't even have a shield, or just people that don't have shields. And then get your 1 plus... So basically you're trading 1 plus 4 attack to get plus 2 to plus 4 here. Statistically, that's just bad. And I know, right, we should be thinking about roleplay first and foremost, but what's the role-playing reason that someone would do this? Right? So this should, if I was going to rework this, I would make this a swift action. So yeah, that sucks, and you lose weapon training. Eesh. What about this? Trip maneuver. A trip is a move action, okay. If successful, the target becomes flat-footed until they take damage. Yeah, this seems... I don't know why they were so... And you also have to keep a hand open. That's so weird. Yeah, that seems quite bad. as we would say, like bad to the point of not being fun to play. Where were we? Freehand fighter. Ooh, the Gloomblade. Be like from, no, my gosh, what's that country called? Right to the north of Cheliax. I can't remember, but they're a country that, everything that dies there turns undead because they made a pact with the Dark God thousands of years ago when meteors were falling to help them not die, and so said, sure, yeah. And, I mean, technically they didn't. Let's see, Lore Wardens can be cool. I also, this is annoying. Martial Master is kind of a silly name. I always thought that one was funny because it's like, well, I'm a fighter, Martial Master. I'm the fighter, fighterson fighter. Yeah. Mobile Fighter. What is an opportunist? Oh, that's kind of cool. So you get rogue and alchemy stuff instead of your bonus feats. That's interesting. That is interesting. Relic Master. Ooh. Ooh. I'm just going to pick one more. That's pretty cool. I've wanted to make one of those before. And yeah, so I'll pick from these three. Was it Relic Master? At third level once it... Okay, so it doesn't do anything until third level. You can use an item mastery feat, with the magic item that doesn't have an appropriate spell in its construction requirements. The magic item must meet all of the requirements. Alternatively, if it does have an appropriate spell... Huh. Interesting. That's very weird for a fighter. Interesting, though. Yeah, let's do this. This sounds fun. And it immediately ties us to the nation of Taldor. So, let's be from... Wait, what? No. Was there not a from area? We're going to put... Lero Duelist. So Taldor's warriors have perfected the art of fighting with the falcata and buckler in the art they call rondellero. They use their bucklers both to defend themselves and to launch unexpected strikes while chopping and hewing at their foes' unprotected bodies and heads with their falcatas. They wear any type of armor, favor bucklers, and are comfortable using both hands for offense and defense. It's very cool. I love the falcata. It's a cool sword. They're like Iberian, yeah, thereabouts. They've got these cool horse head handles, and this really deep belly on the blade. that as it cuts, it sort of pulls things into it. So, yeah, a very good chopper. Yeah, and then some of them have a full bow guard that way. You get a little bit of hand protection. I love that they, excuse me, they show that, yeah, you can hit with a shield. And that friggin' hurts people. So, and then they give you some suggested feats here. You don't need to spend ages looking through stuff to find stuff. So yeah, that's what we will be. Let's grab equipment. Of course, we will need a falcata. Not a flycata. Oh my gosh. Help if I could type. Woo! Yeah, that is a nice weapon. Okay. So, we got a falcata. And that's a melee attack. And ooh, we can wear any kind of armor. Yes. We lose armor training, but yes, we can use any type of armor. Then, but with shield bash, that we'll want to be doing 2-weapon fighting, so we'll want to be a dex fighter. So, ooh. Let's not modify the cell. And come over here. Let's get a little bit of strength instead of charisma. Smarter than we are charismatic? But not very wise. Yeah, I like that. I don't like that. We can do average roundup for now. Just take the max at first level anyways. Let's... not sure what race we want to be. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Ooh, our will is bad. Okay, so we don't get anything from... We don't even get anything from that right now. So, cool. We can close that and not worry about it. We do 1d8. Crit on a 19 times 3. It's melee. It does... They're going to say just slashing. Because of how I run, I'm going to say slashing and piercing. Because if you tell me... if you tell me this cannot stab you, you're crazy. You're a crazy person. Let's see. So, thus far we have we're from Taldor. We have grown up fighting. We are fairly dexterous. We have a decent amount of constitution. We're decently strong. We're decently intelligent, but we're not very wise. So I'm thinking this is like a classic, fresh out of, knight training, but maybe doesn't really want to be a knight. Maybe wants to travel and see the world. Wants to actually put his fighting skills to use outside of the odd tournament here and there. Because Taldor's a pretty safe country. It's not a country for one who seeks glory, really. So, this is a prototypical adventurer. He wants to get out there and see stuff. And he doesn't have the wisdom to see that, there's probably a reason to not fight and kill and do what have you all the time. It's probably not the smartest thing to do. So maybe he gets in over his head sometimes. Let's see, what else? He's heard about some monsters. So that's part of his intelligence, his readings as a squire or just throughout his training. He's read up on various monsters and the tales of different creatures that he hopes to face and fell one day. He is, of course, trained in horseback riding, as many people would be. He doesn't know. Yeah, he's not gonna know how to survive. You put him in the wilderness alone for any amount of time, and he'll probably be eating his own clothes by the end of a week. Swimming, though, climbing, yeah, absolutely. Quite good at that. And then, yeah, let's crack a point into intimidate. He's got a big knife and he knows how to fight. He's gonna be a pretty scary dude. Of course, swimming. Taldor's not a landlocked country, and swimming is just a great pastime for a lot of people in the past. Climbing. Climbing siege ladders, climbing all sorts of that. That's part of knight training. I can think of one knight, Foucault, who hung a ladder upside down on a tree and climbed it kind of like monkey bars as training. So that would definitely be something there. Or maybe he does rock climbing for fun. No, I don't think he does rock climbing for fun. I think I think that's part of his training. So, our feats, we got a first, we get a bonus feat from being a fighter. Let's just make this guy human. I'm feeling human for this guy. Feeling human. Oh, Habe. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I also love Pathfinder Unchained. There's a lot to love about it. I wish they just stuck with Pathfinder Unchained and fleshed that system out more, because there were more classes that could have used it, I think. Yeah, see ya. Yeah, I'm feeling human for this guy, so we got another bonus feat there. So let's go ahead and grab 2 weapon fighting. Go see what shield bash requires. Oh, and see my mistake. Taking that Falcata without paying for it. And see what shield bash is. Oh, something I love using for Pathfinder. Pathfinder Feats Web. And go. Boom. Look at this. Ain't this cool? When you perform a shield bash, you may still provide the shield bonus to your AC. And then it shows us all the stuff we get off of that. So, 2 weapon fighting. And wow, a lot of stuff comes off of that. So, 2 weapon fighting. And then we can get shield snag. Any opponents hit by your shield bash attack are all started by a free disarm. Yeah, that's friggin' cool. Or we can go shield slam, and they get bull rushed into shield master, into bashing finish, and all this. So yeah, so I didn't have to look through every feat in the game to see this. I've got a really solid idea of the feats that I'm going to be using just off of the immediate thing. We already know why we're 2 weapon fighting, because we're trained in the Taldan art of Rondolero. Making sure I had that right. We're trained in that art, so they like using 2 weapons rather than... this is not going to be a battlefield art. This is going to be a dueling art, because we are a duelist. So we'll take our 2 weapon fighting and then improve shield bash. And then, let's see... Is it... Now, there's a temptation to try and bring this terrible will save up, but also we could just try to be better. You know, there's always the question: do you shore up your failures, or do you just try to get hyper focused on the thing you're good at? And what's really the difference between on a d20? What's the difference between -1 and +0? 5%. So I don't think we spend a feat for a whole 5% difference. So let's think about something else, but maybe something that does not involve fighting. Such as what? Yeah, how much money do we start with? Let's try that. I like rolling. Of course, you can just take the average. So there's 10, 12, 15, 17. So we're slightly below average. 170 gold. Hey, Max is going pretty good. I'm kind of exhausted right now because I've been building furniture all day. Let's see. 170 gold. So gold minus 18. We're at what? What's minus 18 on that? 152 gold for our Falcata. And then... So we don't actually get the Buckler Shield Mash until the second level. So what does that mean? Well, a way we can roleplay that is that we know of the techniques, you know. We know about techniques where we can, you know, hit people with a buckler very effectively, but at the moment we're not good at it yet. We just don't have it, and maybe we're too scared to lose the defense. We want that crutch of having a bigger shield because, you know, we are only level 1. We're fresh out of night training. We're very unskilled. So we will want a regular, let's say, a light shield. And, you know, even the armor you're starting with, that can be part, you know, role played as, you know, you can think about it. Actually, let's get a heavy wooden shield. Yeah, Max, you were asking about... Who? That is listed incorrectly here. You were asking about my thoughts on Unchained. I guess the too long didn't read is I enjoy Unchained. I think it's really cool. I like Unchained skills in particular. I think the Unchained skills are great. And the Unchained classes, I mean, when you have the Unchained classes, right, why would you ever not use them, you know? I don't know why. Yeah, let's try and fix this guy's formula here. Armor materials. Yeah, wood should not be adding any AC here, so it's the shield lookup that's wrong. However, the shield lookup is correct. So how are we adding up to 3 when wood here is totally blank? Huh. Well, that's strange. Oh, no. I see. I have item. I clicked on item and not material. So they just... Item wooden armor. Yeah, I see. So we should have... No. Don't want to do that. The Archive of Nethys is not an official site, is it? It is, actually. I would say it's like second party. It's not run by Paizo, but Paizo links to it. because they. I remember back when second edition came out, there was some. There was some question as to like is second edition just an excuse to not release any of your content for free through like archives and D20? And they were like, no, 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 we're still gonna allow uploading on archives. So yeah, so not. I don't know if I would call it official, but the Paizo has acknowledged it. What in the hell is going on in there? Hold on. A party did apparently just start, Max. For some reason, my locked and closed laptop just started blasting music out of nowhere. I hate Windows 10. I have no understanding of why it does the things it does. Mm. Um, what was I talking about? Masterwork in no, not Masterwork. Unchained. I read Masterwork here. Unchained in Pathfinder. I really like it. I think the classes are the best things there, especially Unchained Barbarian. Barbarian in like traditional D&D games has always just been kind of whatever, you know. It's always felt like it's always felt like it should have just been an archetype of fighter, and on its own it's like, okay, you're an archetype of fighter and you get the rage spell that you can only use to target self. Cool, I guess. Of course, you know, it's not. And you get a little bit more health, you know, you get the D12 hit die, but it's like two more every level, you know. But with Unchained Barbarian, you get the rage powers and all of that. That's I always thought that was quite cool. How you don't I kind of found it cool with the normal barbarian how if you die in rage, you know, or if you go unconscious in rage, you can die of shock because you instantly lose all of your temporary health. I thought that was kind of cool, but also not having that as an issue is very cool. Yeah, of course, normal barbarian has the rage powers, but they're just made much more. There's much more of them, and a lot of them are more interesting, in my opinion. See, they really just make things more unique. The monk, the Unchained monk, tabletops seem to have a really difficult time making a monk interesting and balanced, and I think the Unchained monk really hits it there. They're basically a mixture of the Qigong monk archetype from base monk, and they just pump up their stats a bit without pumping their will save. I have mixed feelings on this, right? Because I think a monk, you're giving them all these cool mental powers, but their will save suffers. A little strange, but I will absolutely take the that they're better at combat in pretty much every way over that. And they make the flurry of blows is just so much nicer to look at too. It's not absolutely obnoxious of the like way that they go about calculating it. They just go, you just get another attack. So yeah. That's something I really like. Back to our fighter. So yeah, heavy wooden shield. How do I undo this? don't want heavy armors. I just want... I mean, we can just put clothing here, I suppose. I'm pretty sure what it's wanting is... I think I figured it out. Yeah, sure did. Sure did. And then... Armor. Armor. We just want whatever we can afford with the 3 dex bonus. Suppose we're probably going to be looking at medium there. What is this? Used by the Aratok human tribes and snowcaster elves native to the Arctic tundra of the crown of the world. Oh, huh. That's kind of cool. Huh, interesting. We would absolutely love a breastplate, but that's expensive. So we're not the most wealthy minor noble, of course. Let's see, hide, shirt, etc. Oh. Some leather lamellar looks like reasonably priced. Oh, scale mails actually. Yeah, well, that's perfect. Let's get some scale mail. Scale mail. Do they spell it in my... Yeah, okay, interesting. Do people not use the historical spelling of mail? Is that... They don't. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just going to be steel. Scale mail, nice and flexible. But certainly plenty of protection. That's another minus 50. So we're down to 100 gold. And then we can check out... Let's grab this last feat and then probably be just about wrapping this character up. Let's do a... Try to do a story feat. These are pretty cool if you've never looked at them, because they're absolutely a way to add some roleplay to your sheet of numbers. Let's see. Must have defeated a single challenging foe without any aid from another, or have the champion of a god, champion of the people, competition champion, or gladiator background. Interesting. So these are things like your GM can decide that you've already done this beforehand, or you can only take this feat after you've done it in game. So there's sort of ways to build a backstory into your character without having to write it. So let's see how powerful this benefit is. As a swift action, you can declare a single combat challenge to a foe within 50 feet and in line of sight. I would just say within earshot. That's the 50-foot limit on this is kind of weird. Upon doing so, you gain a +1 bonus on attack rolls and +1 dodge bonus to AC against that foe, as long as no one else threatens that opponent, or until the single combat challenge ends. If another combatant attacks you or the foe, you take a -2 penalty to attack rolls to AC for a round. You can do this at will, and you can't do it on the same foe in the next 24 hours. Interesting. Yeah, I would allow some. You're a duelist, so yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Let's take that. We're a duelist. We've gotten a lucky hit above our weight class against somebody. We've got a chip on our shoulder and something. Deep down, we know we have something to prove, but outwardly we have this impression of I've got nothing to prove. I'm just in it. I'm out there, getting out there, going to make money. get money, glory, and all that, bring some semblance of glory back to this fading old nation that used to be great. So yeah. I haven't even talked about traits. Traits are, of course, a way that you can start flavoring up your character in interesting ways. This is just, all we've got is, I don't even have a name. I do names last. We don't worship anybody in particular. I think this guy's a little full of himself. He obviously believes the deities are real, but he doesn't feel the need. I think we're the kind of guy who has done a couple of amateur fights and has won both of them, and so he's at the top of the world. He needs to get he needs to get punched in the face a couple times before he realizes his place in the world as a level 1 character. His skills mostly represent his training and his upbringing, and yeah, these are representing the fighting style that he was taught, and again, that last one. He's got 102 gold to his name, and he's not very good at surviving, so we're just going to... I'm not going to buy any other equipment. We got our sword, let's grab a dagger, too. People would just have daggers in the period, so we'll grab that as well, make us an even 100 gold. And yeah, there you go. So that's all he has. He has the clothes on his back. He'll be wearing clothes underneath this. You get clothes for free if you are not familiar with Pathfinder. It's the only thing you get for free. You get a set of clothes worth 8 gold or less. But yeah, so that's... and we could set an age. We're pretty young. I'm gonna say we're quite young. We just got done being a knight. We're just an adult in the period tech level. So we're gonna be 16. We're right out, maybe. And now we can start thinking: has our family let us leave, or have we? Maybe we've fled. Maybe that's it. Yeah, as we're when we're outside of the armor, we're decently good at sneaking around. So. Packs up his things, sneaks out of the house, goes up and joins with the Pathfinder Society or some other adventuring band. Actually, no, probably the Aspis Consortium, the sort of Merc for Hire Adventurers Guild, just to make a quick buck. So yeah, I think that's where we're at with this character. So yeah, Shauna, if you, I'll put a skip the first 20-30 minutes of me just dicking around of this video so that you can get straight to my thoughts on how do you roleplay what is right now just a giant wall of random garbage. Of course, I haven't put in all of our human racial features over here. There's a bunch of different there are a lot of different ways that you can adjust humans. Yeah, there's the human sub-races, or what I would maybe call ethnicities. What are the stats? Race, class? We built a first level human fighter, because Shauner, you can't read the sheet? Oh no. Oh no. Let me blow us up. There, that might be better. I am not sure. I didn't even think about that. Building a first level human fighter, as Shauner suggested. We've got decent strength, but we're mostly a dexterity fighter. We got a decent amount of constitution. He's decently smart. We're not very wise. Slightly charismatic, but just about average. We're a Taldan Rondalero duelist, so we fight with a buckler and a falcata, using prioritizing our offense. But we still have a pretty decent AC starting out. Yeah, all right. Oh, actually, I don't need this. I need weapon proficiency. Falcata. I don't know if the Falcata is in the long blades group. I think it is. But yeah. We rolled just about average on money, so we didn't start with anything special. A Falcata is a weird choice to pair with a buckler. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. It's a sort of reminder that it is a fantasy setting. They didn't have to go full. What's the word? There's so many medieval or like Renaissance fantasy settings that just do. This is just Renaissance France. This is just like take Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, of course, where it went from Morrowind's weird, bizarre sort of alien landscape to, sure, we're a fantasy game, but we're going to stick to a very specific theme, and it's like, that's kind of weird, right? Historically accurate. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's, you don't have to be. You can be anachronistic with things, right? A Falcata 1,000 years later. A Falcata today, almost 2,000 years later, you put it through someone's skull, it's going to kill them or do them great bodily harm. So, yeah, it's, and a dagger's a dagger. Every society pretty much come up with that at some point or another. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. To use a Falcata instead of an arming sword, and it is a mighty chopper. It, crits on a 19, does ×3 damage on a crit. It makes sense as to that. Yeah, it is interesting. I don't think anyone makes a Falcata trainer, but I don't think it would be that different. And if you're dueling, so your opponent has the same weapons as you, and they're also fighting with a Falcata, these would be pretty lethal duels, I would imagine. With the buckler, you wouldn't have to worry about an issue with the Falcata, which is that they're usually quite thin. So they're quite thin and wide blades, so there's a lot of friction. They get stuck in wood quite easily. Which is true of most swords, of course, but the wider it is, just the more friction that it has on the sides. So yeah, I thought that was neat, and that's I like Pathfinder's archetypes as ways to sort of build your character, even if you go at it from the angle of, I want the stuff this archetype gives my character. It gives me a background as, alright, we're probably from Taldor, or at least somebody from Taldor who practiced this style taught us this, and we're also a duelist primarily. Let's see. It's a short blade that's cut focused. You would want a larger shield. Yes, we would want a larger shield, and I'm actually starting with a larger shield as sort of a crutch for our lack of skills right now, since we are at level 1. But also it's a dueling style, right? And if we look at like Mayor, or just a lot of dueling systems, they duel with some strange weapons, some strange weapon systems all of the time, just for the sake of it. Thinking of I'm bringing up Mayor and Meyer. Sorry about that. But Meyer, he's dueling with long swords 100 years after longswords are not a battlefield weapon. They're way out of fashion. Because it's fun, it's interesting, he thinks it's manly. So, maybe there's this machismo culture of, yeah, you want to get like the mincer in Austria and Germany around the late 19th century, early 20th century, where, they've got these facial scars that are like, yeah, that's the put hair on your chest thing. You want to get into the danger zone, into, you don't want a big shield. You want to have to be actively trying to block all the time. Because, yeah, this would be, it would be a lot harder this way. It would be maybe a bigger indicator of skill as far as who won. It would also be much deadlier, so, maybe the spectators in this country like that more. Taldor is a sort of... It's a country that's fading from their old self. Their emperor, his son has died. He has no heir. He's kind of a useless, grieving man. The rest of the country are just, petty nobles squabbling over each other. Their age of conquest is long gone, so there's a lot of people, fighting age men, who have the capability to fight, but that there's, just like in real life in the Crusades, there's nothing for them to fight. So yeah, he's that sort of character. He's trying to find his windmills to tilt against. Another thing I like to do when I'm making a character, if I know I'm gonna take something, I'll put a little future. No, yeah. No. Maybe Iron Will. Maybe we take Iron Will later as a, like, something happens that shakes our, something happens that shakes his perception of things, and he realizes he needs to toughen up in this aspect. But yeah, this was sort of a out of nowhere lazy thing for me to take a break while building a ton of IKEA furniture. I think I will go back to that and leave you guys with that. Shauner, if you end up seeing this, I will point you to the latter half. That way you don't have to go through the first bit where I was just sort of getting things set up here. Thanks all who stopped by. Hope to do some more of it soon. More pre-recorded videos on the way, of course. But yeah,